Hello guys, welcome to my channel Medicinal Pharma Education. In previous videos you have completed the UV visible spectroscopy, you have completed the IR spectroscopy, and today we are starting spectrofluorometry. Spectrofluorometry, it's very easy topic and it's very easy to understand. It's very easy to understand and there are no much instrumentation to be studied. It's very easy, as you have studied. If you have studied IR instrument and the UV instrument, this instrument you have just to see the diagram, that's it. Then you can just write the detectors and the monochromators are used, which are used, right? There are already, you have already been studied. If you have not seen the videos, you can just go and refer the videos. The main two questions, firstly the topics in the spectrofluorometry are the theories of fluorescence, factors affecting fluorescence, quenchers, instrumentation and applications of fluorescence. Okay, these are the topics we are going to discuss in the spectrofluorometry. Okay, the two very important questions, the two very important topics are: explain the theory of fluorescence and the factors affecting the fluorescence, and the next one is explain the applications. These are the three topics which are very important. Okay, uh, with respect to the exam point of view, the instrumentation is not that much important because the instrumentation is very easy and it is very similar to the UV visible spectrometer, so the instrumentation is not that important. You have to study the factors affecting the fluorescence. This is very important, and the principle involved and the theory involved in the fluorescence is another important question. Okay, let's start the fluorescence. Fluorescence, see, it is a phenomenon of emission of radiation when the molecules are excited by the radiation at certain wavelength. I think so. You have you have seen the UV visible spectroscopy, where we have discussed what is meant by emission. Emission is nothing but as the molecule, when the molecule receives the energy, when the molecule receives the light energy, it receives and it moves from the ground state to the excited state. After moving from the ground state to the excited state, as the excited state is unstable, it emits, or emission, the process takes place is emission, where the observed light is emitted back, and based upon the emission of the particular sample, we analyze the we detect the what is the sample present in the sample. Okay, what are the elements present in the sample. Okay, I'll just give you an easy explanation about this full topic. See, first, the radiation in the form of light. Okay, the form of light falls on the ion or the atom. Here HV is the light. It falls on the atom, where it receives and it is first present in the ground state and then moves to the excited state. Okay, then moves to the excited state, and the here excited state, it contains lot of energy. Okay, as it is unstable, and it releases the energy in the form of fluorescence. It releases in the energy in the form of light or fluorescence and moves back to the ground state. The amount of fluorescence is measured by fluorimetry, and by this measurement we analyze the sample. This is the mechanism involved in the spectrofluorometry. Okay, I think so I have understood. See, next, fluorometry. It is a measurement of fluorescence intensity at a particular wavelength with the help of filters. Okay, see, I already told fluorometry is nothing but it is a measurement of fluorescence intensity at a particular wavelength with the help of filters. Filters acts the function of filters is very important. The function of filters, it is very important in point of view the filters, as helps in the selection of specific wavelength of light for excitation and emission. For excitation means from the ground state, the required wavelength is selected by the filters where the sample moves from the ground state to the excited state, and the emitted light also been selected or filtered by the filters. Okay, the principle involved here, as you can see, I already said you the principle. What is the principle involved here? The principle involved is emitted radiation by the sample. Okay, emitted radiation, based upon the emitted radiation we analyze the sample. Next, fluorescence. Fluorescence is an emission phenomenon where the energy transition from the higher to a lower state is accompanied by radiation. I already said you fluorescence is a phenomenon where the energy or the emission phenomenon takes place, and energy transition from the higher to a ground state is accompanied by the radiation. Here as the molecule moves to the higher state and where it is unstable, and it emits the observed radiation in the form of fluorescence, and it comes to the lower state. This is the basic principle or the theory involved in fluorescence. We'll continue with the theory. Only molecules in their excited forms are able to emit fluorescence. I already said you, right? When the molecule absorbs the radiation or absorbs the radiation and moves to the excited state, only those molecules are able to emit the fluorescence. Okay, thus they are to be brought in a state of higher energies prior to the emission phenomenon. I already said you, right? Before the emission phenomenon, they must be in an excited state. Okay, next, some electronic states. These are very important states. You have to just memorize them. It's are not important for your exam point of view. If the examiner has lost his mind, he will give this type of questions. Okay, firstly, single ground state. It is a state in which all the electrons in the molecule are paired. I think so you can understand what is meant by paired. Doublet state is nothing but a state in which an unpaired electrons are present, or it is all called as free radicals. Okay, triple state is state in which electrons are unpaired but in same spin. Just see the diagrams, you can understand. That's it, same spin. Okay, next singlet excited state. Singlet excited state, a state in which electrons are unpaired but of opposite sign. These are the different types of states. There are mainly 4 states. Just see these diagrams, you can just understand. And here I have not drawn the diagram, but I will show you diagram. Wait, 8:30. The diagram, I'll just edit the diagram here. You can see the diagram. I think so you are seeing the diagram. I'll explain you the diagram. See, first at the left bottom of your diagram there is ground state. It is called as S0, and when the energy is first every molecule will be in ground state itself. When the energy is absorbed, you can see the energy where absorption is taking place, and absorption is taking place, and the electron or the atom is going to S1 and S2 state. Okay, S1 and S2 state. After S1 and S2, in S1 you can see the fluorescence is coming back, and in the triple state the phosphorescence is coming back. Okay, I'll just explain you. I think so you have understood. Fluorescence is a state where emission or transition from singlet excited state to singlet ground state. S1 state, singlet excited state to singlet ground state. Okay, that is fluorescence. Whereas phosphorescence is that there is T1, right, in the right top, triplet excited state. It is from the triplet transition from triplet state to single ground state. These are the 2 phenomena where we analyze the radiation to detect the sample. See, these are the 3 possibilities. Mainly these are the 3 processes occurring in the after the absorption of the radiation. First, collision deactivation. It is a state in which the entire energy is lost due to collision deactivation and no radiation is emitted. See, uh, in S2 the energy is not transferred to the ground state. The energy is lost due to collision deactivation in S2. In S1 you can see fluorescence. Here see the definition of fluorescence. Okay, you can see the fluorescence definition. It is a phenomenon of emission of radiation when there is transition from singlet excited state to singlet ground state. Okay, you just take the previous screenshot of the photo and then see the my class. Because I can't draw the diagram, it's very complicated to draw correctly, and you may just confuse it. Okay, so that I have not drawn the diagram, but I'm not lazy. Fluorescence, phosphorescence. Okay, sorry for mispronunciation. Phosphorescence. It is a emission of radiation when the electrons undergo transition from triplet state to the singlet ground state. Okay, you can see the previous video. You can just rewind back the video and you can see the triplet excited state to it is coming to singlet ground state. See, from it is coming from the ground state, it is going to the excited state or the triplet state, and it's coming back to the ground state. This is the mechanism involved in the mechanism or the theory involved in the fluorescence. Okay, I think so I've understood. You can see the diagram, you'll understand better way. Okay, next, factors affecting fluorescence. There are many factors affecting the fluorescence. Factors affecting fluorescence. What is meant by factors affecting fluorescence? Here, the factors which are affecting the fluorescence or decreasing the effect of fluorescence by the sample emitted. Okay, the decrease in the fluorescence by the different factors is called factors affecting. Okay, there are many factors which are affecting the fluorescence. Example, firstly, the concentration. See, as the concentration of the molecule increases, fluorescence decreases. Concentration increases, then fluorescence decreases. It is inversely proportional to each other. Concentration increases, decrease in the fluorescence. Example, if you take a dye, if the concentration of the dye is low, if the concentration of drug is low, then it glows higher. If too much dye, then decreases the glow. Glow here represents the fluorescence. Okay, molecular structure. Different structures have different fluorescence. Okay, different structures have different fluorescence. Rigid dye structure glows more than flexible dye. Here I am giving example rigid dyes, right? Rigid structure of dyes glows more than flexible dyes. Okay, next, intensity of light. As you know that intensity increases, the fluorescence also increases. Next, absorption. If absorption, what happens if the light is absorbed? Okay, it decreases the fluorescence. This is also the factor. Next, presence of oxygen. Remember that oxygen decreases the fluorescence. Oxygen decreases the fluorescence by oxidizing fluorescent substance to non-fluorescent substance. It oxidizes the fluorescent substance to non-oxidant fluorescence, therefore decrease in the fluorescence. Next, quenchers. Presence of these quenchers will decrease or stop fluorescence. Example, O2 kills the fluorescence. Next, pH. I think so you are understanding. If you are not understanding, just comment in the description. I will just in the comments I will just change my explanation style, and what you are not understanding, right, just tell me in the comments. I'll just improve. Okay, pH. Alteration in the pH of the solution will have significant effect on the fluorescence. See, in every instrumentation or every technique, the pH plays a very important role. Change in the pH will surely influence the the results. Okay, next, the viscosity and the temperature. See, first the viscosity. You also know that viscosity increases, collisions decreases, then fluorescence also decreases. Okay, next, decrease in viscosity increases the collision and increases the fluorescence. They are inversely proportional to each other. Next, here the temperature is directly proportional. Increase in temperature increases the collisions and increases the fluorescence. Decrease in the temperature decreases the fluorescence and decrease in temperature decrease the collision, decrease in the fluorescence. Okay, next, photochemical decomposition. UV and visible absorption of leads to photochemical reaction where fluorescence can't be seen. See, this also decreases the fluorescence. These are 9 factors. There are many other factors, like there are like 15 to 20 factors, which is not important. You can just explain in detail. I have directly explained this uh, just by giving the short line to make you better understanding. But for you, for exam point of view, they'll ask in sub question. This is more than enough. But if you want, you can refer other websites or other sites, and you can just gather the information. But for me, or for the exam point of view, this is more than enough. They'll, because factors affecting, they'll ask in sub question. You just list out the factors and just explain the each and every factor. That's more than enough by giving some examples. That's the best. For today's class, we'll just wind up here, because it's already 16 minutes. In next class, we will complete the spectrofluorimetry. See, just write down the notes. This is the questions asked, and this is the fluorescence definition. Just fluorescence principle involved. Next, some of the transitions: singlet ground state, double state, and triplet state. Complete. Next is the singlet excited state. There are mainly 4 states, and the diagram, you can just rewind the back video and just see the diagram. The diagram is very important. If they ask, you have to draw the diagram. See, these are the 3 factors occurs. Next, the last, the factors affecting the fluorescence: concentration, molecular structure, light intensity, adsorption, presence of oxygen and quenchers, pH, temperature and viscosity, and photochemical decomposition. These are the mainly factors. And by this, we'll wind up today's class, and tomorrow in next class we are going to complete the spectrofluorimetry. Thank you guys for seeing. Have a nice day. Have a great day. Bye. See you in the next class.